Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. I'm Utsaf Parekh and I'll bring you the top stories of the day. Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has said that its ministry is operating deep within Gaza territory. Gallant said, and I quote, "IDF forces are located in the heart of Gaza City." He repeated Israel's calls for Palestinians to move to the south of Gaza. Speaking about Gaza's future after the war, Gallant said that Israel had no desire to rule the enclave. Yesterday, Israel had given Palestinian civilians trapped in North Gaza a 4-hour window to leave. North Gaza residents were seen heading south on foot. However, Gaza's Interior Ministry has said that close to 900,000 Palestinians are still sheltering in northern Gaza. Some of them have sought refuge in the Al-Shifa hospital in the region. Israel's armed forces struck Hamas targets near a hospital and a school in Gaza. The Israeli Defense Forces have also said that they killed a terrorist cell hiding inside a mosque. They also found concealed rocket launchers and numerous weapons inside a school in the northern Gaza Strip. The Israeli military has accused Hamas of operating out of civilian areas and using Palestinians as human shields. Hamas has denied those claims. Meanwhile, a new video released by the Israeli army showed a destroyed amusement park in Gaza. This was after soldiers found an opening of a tunnel in the park that they claimed led to Hamas tunnels. Earlier, the army had bombed another tunnel entrance that was located near a university in Gaza. Yemen's Houthi rebel group said that they've launched another attack against Israel. The group said it launched a new batch of drones against sensitive targets in the West Asian nation. Last week, the Houthis announced that they had formally entered the Israel-Hamas war. They fired drones and missiles at Israel, signifying a regional spillover of the conflict. The Kremlin has called for humanitarian pauses in the Israel-Hamas war. It has described the humanitarian situation in Gaza as catastrophic. A spokesperson also said that Russia will continue to talk to Israel, Egypt and the Palestinians. This is to ensure that humanitarian supplies can be delivered to Gaza. Several dozen Israelis gathered along Jerusalem's western wall yesterday. They held a prayer for the hostages being held in Gaza by Hamas and those that have gone missing. People remembered their loved ones as the Israel-Hamas war marked the completion of a grim month. In other political news, Indonesia's President Joko Widodo is expected to meet US President Joe Biden next week. The two leaders will meet on Monday in Washington. Their meeting comes amid the Israel-Hamas war. Earlier on Tuesday, Joko Widodo said Indonesia's support for Palestine would never waver. The Indonesian president is also scheduled to attend the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco from November 15th to 17th. The American state of Ohio voted to enshrine abortion rights in its state constitution yesterday. The amendment guarantees the right to abortion and other forms of reproductive health care. Ohio became the 7th state where voters decided to protect abortion access. This is since the US Supreme Court overturned the ruling known as Roe v. Wade last year. Under Roe v. Wade, the US Constitution protected a citizen's right to have an abortion. The Group of Seven, or G7, foreign ministers kicked off their meeting in Tokyo today. They discussed several issues including Russia's war in Ukraine and the Israel-Gaza crisis. The ministers agreed that the G7's support for Ukraine in its war with Russia will not be affected by the intensifying conflict in West Asia. The foreign ministers are also due to hold virtual talks with Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba today. Shelling by Ukrainian forces killed 6 people and injured 11 in the city of Donetsk. This is according to a Russian-installed official in the eastern region of Ukraine. Meanwhile, Russia also claims to have launched attacks on Ukrainian troops in multiple directions and to have destroyed Ukraine's military equipment. 14 people have died after a fire broke out in the South Asian nation of Chile. The fire took place in an immigrant neighborhood in the city of Coronel. The city's chief prosecutor has said the victims appear to be undocumented Venezuelan immigrants. Local authorities say that most of the dead were children. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met with his Malaysian counterpart Zamri Abdul Kadir. They co-chaired the 6th India-Malaysia Joint Commission meeting in India's capital, New Delhi. This was the Commission's first meeting in 12 years. The meeting was focused on the security, trade and finance sectors and maritime cooperation between the two countries. Both the leaders also exchanged views on the Indo-Pacific, ASEAN, West Asia and other issues. In climate news, India's Supreme Court has banned the bursting of firecrackers across the country. This comes after pollution in the capital New Delhi and nearby regions reached severe levels. Experts have called the toxic haze in Delhi a gas chamber. Scientists are saying that the year 2023 is on the path of becoming the hottest year on record. Researchers from the Copernicus Climate Change Service found that October was the hottest month globally. Heat-trapping gases in the atmosphere have led to this situation. Activities like the burning of fossil fuels and the destruction of nature have contributed to this emergency. The governor of the U.S. state of Virginia has declared a state of emergency. This is due to the wildfires burning through the region. Dry conditions and strong winds are exacerbating threats in the ongoing U.S. autumn fire season. Virginia's emergency declaration is effective for 30 days and aims to support firefighting efforts. Over 7 people have been injured as a result of floods in northern France. The floods were caused by Storm Domingos. Over 1,500 firefighters have been deployed to help in search and rescue missions. A red alert has also been put out in the northern regions of France. Britain's Prince William spoke about the global climate crisis while in Singapore. He said that climate change has become too visible to be ignored. From forest fires to floods, the extreme weather has wreaked havoc this year. The UK's Prince William attended the Earthshot Prize Award ceremony held in Singapore. The annual award honours people whose initiatives and actions help the environment. Britain's King Charles gave a speech to spell out UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's agenda for the next election. King Charles said Sunak wants to strongly focus on reducing the climate burden. But Sunak apparently also wants to focus on the UK's energy security. In September, Sunak had delayed the UK's climate targets. In July, he had said the UK would issue hundreds of licenses for oil and gas drilling in the North Sea. Meanwhile, the Scottish government failed to submit its climate change plans. The submission was due this month. The delay was reportedly due to changes in the UK's climate change targets. This includes changes to the policy on new car sales and fossil fuel boilers. A committee that was appointed to monitor the climate agenda has expressed its disappointment. It is legally required for Scotland's climate plan to be finalised by March 23, 2025. Now on to business and tech news. Financial giant UBS has reported a loss of nearly $800 million in its third quarter results. The loss was more than the $444 million analysts had projected. It's due to expenses tied to the Swiss bank's takeover of former rival Credit Suisse. Earlier this year, UBS took over the scandal-hit Credit Suisse for $3 billion. Australia's fourth largest bank, Westpac, has cut ties with scandal-hit PricewaterhouseCoopers. This ends Westpac's relations with the auditor after 55 years. PwC has been under fire in Australia. It's after revelations that a former partner leaked confidential government tax plans to drum up their business. The International Monetary Fund has said that China's economy is set to grow at 5.4% this year. This is an upward revision to its earlier forecast of 5%. However, it expects growth to dip to 4.6% in 2024. The IMF's revision comes as China continues to battle the decline in its property sector. Real estate contributes to about 30% of China's GDP. Gaming company Nintendo has raised its operating profit forecast for the current financial year by 11%. The company is projected to make over $3 billion in profit. This is after gamers flocked to the aging Switch console this year. Nintendo reported that it sold 6.84 million units in the first half of the financial year. Oil giant Saudi Aramco has reported a 23% fall in its net profit. The company's profit fell to $32.6 billion in the third quarter. This was due to both lower oil prices and lower volumes of oil sold. However, Aramco's still beat analyst forecasts, who expected its profit to fall by a larger margin. This has helped keep the company's share prices up. More than 1,000 Amazon workers went on strike at a warehouse in central England yesterday. This was over a long-running pay dispute. Employees have demanded better wage hikes to deal with high inflation and also enhanced benefits. The Amazon workers also plan to strike today and tomorrow. They aim to take action on November 24th, which is Black Friday. Black Friday is an important event for companies that attract high volume of sales. Millions of Australians were left without a phone or internet connection today. This is after the country's second-largest telecommunications provider, Optus, experienced an unexplained nationwide outage. The outage crippled payment systems and online operations. Train networks and ride-share services were also down briefly in some cities. Optus has said that some services across its networks are gradually being restored. Reports say chipmaker Intel has shelved a planned investment in Vietnam. The move has dealt a serious blow to the country's growing ambitions in the chip industry. Vietnam is home to Intel's largest factory worldwide for assembling, packaging, and testing chips. The new investment could have nearly doubled the chipmaker's operations in Vietnam. According to a report, Chinese tech giant Baidu has ordered artificial intelligence chips from Huawei this year. If confirmed, this could mark a significant industry shift away from supplier Nvidia. Baidu's move comes in the backdrop of America's stringent semiconductor laws. Pressure from the US government could lead Chinese firms to find an alternative to American chip makers. Big tech companies face new rules in the European Union. The EU rules will force social media groups such as Google and Meta platforms to be more transparent and accountable. The rules require firms to clearly label political advertising on their platforms. They've also been asked to mention details like who paid for the advertising and how much. Moving to sports, let's start with the updates from the Cricket World Cup. Australia beat Afghanistan by 3 wickets in last night's thriller. Afghanistan batted first and scored 291 runs in their innings. Australia were off to a shaky start after losing 4 wickets for just 69 runs. But it was all-rounder Glenn Maxwell who played an exceptional innings to guide the baggy greens past the finish line. With the win, Australia will now face South Africa in the semi-final on the 16th of November. It was an all-out Glenn Maxwell show last night. The Australian scored a double century and broke multiple records. Maxwell has become the first Australian batter to score 200 runs in an ODI match. He's also registered the highest score for a batter during a run chase. After the unbeaten knock of 201 runs, the entire crowd at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium performed a standing ovation for Maxwell. Despite losing to Australia, the Afghanistan team put up a commendable batting show. 21-year-old Ibrahim Zadran scored an unbeaten 129 runs. He has become the first batter from Afghanistan to score a century at an ODI World Cup. Zadran's knock also helped Afghanistan put 291 runs on the board. This was the team's highest total in an ODI World Cup. Meanwhile, Bangladesh captain Shakib Al Hasan has been ruled out of the World Cup with a finger injury. Shakib has been replaced by wicketkeeper batter Anamul Haq Bijoy. Bangladesh have one more match remaining at the World Cup. They will play Australia on the 11th of November in the Indian city of Pune. Moving to football, Manchester City beat the Swiss club Young Boys 3-0 in yesterday's Champions League match. The game was played at Man City's home ground at the Etihad Stadium. Striker Erling Haaland scored twice for the Sky Blues. The third goal for Man City came from Phil Foden. Ukrainian club Shakhtar Donetsk stunned Barcelona 1-0 in yesterday's Champions League match. Danilo Sikan scored the only goal of the match in the 40th minute. Despite the loss, Barcelona continued to lead the group stage. They are 2 wins away from qualifying for the knockout stage. AC Milan beat PSG 2-1 in an intense Champions League match last night. Striker Milan Skriniar put PSG on the scoreboard first with a goal in the 9th minute. 3 minutes later, Milan equalized on a goal from Rafael Leao. In the second half, Olivier Giroud scored on a header to seal the win for AC Milan. Portugal defender Pepe has become the oldest goal scorer in Champions League history. 40-year-old Pepe scored in the 91st minute for his club FC Porto. The veteran's goal helped Porto clinch a 2-0 win over Royal Antwerp in the group stage match. Pepe broke another record of being the oldest outfield player in the Champions League. In hockey, the Indian women's team has jumped to the 6th spot in world rankings. This comes after they recently clinched the Asian Champions Trophy after beating Japan 4-0. The women in blue were ranked 8th before winning the Asian title. This is the Indian women's team's best ranking ever. In basketball, New York Knicks beat Los Angeles Clippers in yesterday's match. The Knicks cruised to a 111-91 win after outscoring the Clippers in the final quarter. The win spoiled the debut match of James Harden, who joined the Clippers this summer. In entertainment news, the American TV show Friends has shot to the top of TV streaming charts. The show became the top-ranked TV show among American viewers. This happened after actor Matthew Perry's death on October 28th. He played the iconic role of Chandler Bing on the show. The sudden passing of actor Matthew Perry has left many in shock. According to reports, Jennifer Aniston, his Friends co-star, is finding it hard to cope with the loss. Aniston was said to be deeply affected when she learned of Perry's passing. The actress also lost her father around this time a year ago and is still recovering from that loss. Actor Elizabeth Debicki has opened up about playing the role of Princess Diana in The Crown. Debicki called it completely unbearable. She says she was under immense pressure as the scenes required emotional commitment. The final season of The Crown will showcase the events that led up to the death of Princess Diana. The series will be available to watch from November 16th. Actor Megan Fox has revealed that she suffered a miscarriage. She spoke about this in her poetry book titled Pretty Boys Are Poisonous. Fox was pregnant with rapper Machine Gun Kelly's baby. In an interview, she said that she has never been through anything like that in her life. Marvel actor Jeremy Renner took to Instagram to express his gratitude for the people who supported his recovery journey. He wrote that he explored every type of therapy since January this year, but the greatest one has been the people who empowered him to endure. Renner met with a near-fatal accident about 10 months ago. A snowplow ran over him as he was trying to protect his nephew from it. According to reports, it was a miracle that he survived as his injuries were extreme. After directing global blockbuster Barbie, Greta Gerwig is gearing up to direct the reboot of the Narnia franchise. An executive from Netflix said that production will start in 2024. Gerwig started working on the screenplay of 2 Narnia films when a strike by Hollywood writers ended in September. The Narnia franchise will be Greta Gerwig's first stint in mainstream blockbuster territory. A live-action film on the popular video game series The Legend of Zelda has been announced. Gaming giant Nintendo is backing the film. Zelda's creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, will collaborate with Wes Ball from Maze Runner films for the Zelda movie. According to reports, Guardians of the Galaxy actor Chris Pratt is being considered for the lead role. Singer Nicki Minaj made a public appeal to her fans, asking for decorum and non-violence. The singer took to Instagram to implore her fan base to keep calm. She wrote, "Be sure to never threaten anyone on my behalf." The reason why she had to put up a story like this is still unclear. Jungkook, the singer of the South Korean band BTS, has become the first Korean soloist who spent 12 weeks on Billboard's Artist 100 chart. His song 3D helped him reach the milestone. Billboard revealed that 3D is one of the most popular songs in the US. It became Jungkook's third song to feature on the Billboard chart for 5 weeks. The other two songs are Left and Right and 7. Actor Evan Ellingson has passed away at the age of 35. He was found lifeless in his home in California. The cause of his death wasn't revealed. Ellingson had reportedly been battling addiction for years but had turned sober. He was known for his roles in CSI Miami and My Sister's Keeper. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.